Hello all, Seriously's here, back for another tips and tricks video all about Starship layouts, how I like to get my endgame starships set up for their technology and their slots and stuff and things. And we're going to start off with two things, a demonstration. Always know that the Quicksilver Synthesis Companion will show you where to get stuff from various expeditions. That might be something that's coming up, and then the other thing that we're going to demonstrate is hunting some pirates with the ships that we're going to be talking about today. So let's go do that first, because we've got a mission right here. Where's my ship? There we go. We're going to be using the Boundary Herald, and it does not have to be a starship that's from an expedition reward that you get for your end game stuff. In fact, expedition reward starships mostly are not very good with stat bonuses. Stat bonuses are set to the default for most of the oh good, we didn't warp. For most of the expedition rewards. You would be better off with almost any ship, even a shuttle, which is preposterous, except that this here, I believe, counts as a fighter or an exotic. I can't remember what the Boundary Herald is, and it'll have the default fighter or exotic stats, which are obviously better than the default shuttle stats. So a shuttle wouldn't be better than an expedition reward ship. Yet I have a video on what all the ship stats are best at, so if you want to get a ship tailored to what you want to do, combat or best of jack of all trades sort of ship, that's the exotic. Fighter is still one of the best for combat. Alright, so we are using the Infra-Knife Accelerator. Do I have to hit scan or something? Yeah, I have to hit scan.
Hostile ships approaching.
We'll show all the stats and stuff in a minute. We just want to showcase how the ship functions out in combat. I like to fly backwards until the ships are flying at me. Then I let go of that thrust. When they're behind me, I'm also holding the back button to fly away from them. Got to avoid those green starship trails. If you shoot them, people will be mad at you later.
Ships defeated.
Alright, we're gonna have another wave here.
Hostile ships approaching.
You can start shooting before they get here if you have the heat capacity to do so, and they will take damage. See, that guy blew up right as he came in. If you are holding the back thruster, the reverse thrust, while they're approaching you or while you're firing, you will probably not hit them. Those gold starship trails are probably my personal escort friends, which I want to dismiss because they're getting in the way.
Hostile ships approaching.
Oh, I didn't want to do that. Oh, that's one of mine. Where is, there we go. And those pink pirate trails are the ones you're after. Red, pink, whatever they are. Mine are red. Theirs are violet. See guys, you're just getting in the way. If you guys blow up, that's your fault. There we go, we should be done. Okay. Guess now it is good that I called in the anomaly. We're heading back over there. Not very long to complete that 3-wave pirate mission with this ship. So I guess we can start looking right now. Here you can see we have X-class modules for pretty much everything. Shields aren't, we didn't even get down to half shields. They hit us a lot. And we have a 37, a 37, a 36. I didn't re-roll these. I think 38 or maybe even 40 is the maximum. I don't re-roll past 34. You can only get 30 with an S class. So anything over that is fantastic for X from your shields. That's my shield stat over here. I have a preposterous maneuverability. As you see, when we get to that, that's going to be the focus of what I like to upgrade for my endgame starships. So let's get back over there to the starship. Went over the shields. You saw how fast my Infra-Knife Accelerator was able to liquidate those pirates, and I'm only using one supercharged slot on the Infra-Knife itself, and I'm surrounding it for the adjacency bonuses with 3 X-class modules. Fire rate is the big stat you're looking for on your X-class Infra-Knife modules. You want the highest fire rate, and I think 15 is the max. Damage 6% is also very, very good. 14% fire rate on that one, 14 on that one. Heat dispersion, also, that helps you hold down that trigger for the amount of time we were holding it down for. So, one supercharged slot, I find, is all you need for your weapon, generally. If you're using a good one, like a Sentinel Interceptor weapon, which uses photon cannon upgrades. You want to get some X-class photon cannon upgrades if you're using a Sentinel Interceptor starship, or the Infra-Knife. Or the positron ejector is still a very good weapon, but it has a very short range, so you're going to have to get close combat to take out your enemies, and you might blow up those people that were trying to help you that kept getting in our way. And they don't like that. They're not fond of that. So I prefer the Infra-Knife. Nice, good targeting at a long range, high damage, fast. So that's the weapon I like to use. Hyperdrive, we can go over that next since it's not too important to me. I use my freighter to warp. I get like 5,000 almost light years, I think, on my freighter without even trying. So this is great. It's a very good stat for a starship to have. 2,500 is huge, and I do that by putting the hyperdrive there, putting the 3 X-class modules at around 300. This one I didn't even reroll. I didn't even get to 300 on that one. Why bother? No big deal. And then we got to use the indium drive, the emerald drive, and the cadmium drive, as well as the emergency warp unit. We don't even have, I think there's other stuff we could install. Maybe I don't know that tech on this save. Isn't there one other? If there isn't, still, that's how I arrange them. I don't really focus on, oh, there it is, the Atlanta drive. That's what I was thinking of. Going for purple stars. It gives adjacency bonus as well. And since these are my highest warp ones, I like to give the adjacency to those first. So all of these are focusing on all of those. All right, we'll go over the pulse drive and the super slot layout. I like to find a starship that has a super slot layout that lets me put 2 or 3 modules onto pulse drive and get all the adjacency bonuses working. So the Boundary Herald is perfect for that because we've got one here, and one here, and I put the 3 X-class modules on those. They're all going to be, if you take them out of supercharged slot, they're all going to be around 20% maneuverability. That's the one you want to focus on when you're re-rolling your X-class modules. High maneuverability, because that's the one that gets significantly better than S-class. Boost and pulse fuel efficiency get better too, but that's the one I like to focus on, maneuverability. 20%. It's a huge number for any module that gives maneuverability. This one here that you get from the Space Anomaly at the back, it's the drift module. It enables drifting. That's what the flight assist reduction is. But 11% maneuverability, that multiplies. That's what's getting us our almost ridiculous 3,000 maneuverability stat here. I don't think any of my ships on my other saves get that high. I only really care to get over 2,000. If I'm over 2,000, that's great. That's perfect. If I can get that with 2 supercharged slots, good enough for me. Maybe the other 2 can go in a weapon. Maybe one goes in a weapon, one goes in a shield. Or if we want to warp in our ship, a hyperdrive. But I prefer 3. I really like to crank that number as high as we can get it. Instability drive. This is really just good for pulse fuel efficiency. It says right there, it reduces your cost and fuel by 34% for pulsing within a star system, and adjacency bonuses for your other stuff. Great. Pulse drive power, how fast you get to your targets. That's very helpful when you're warping between planets that are 40 seconds away from each other. Maybe that'll cut it down to 30 seconds, like it says it should. 30%. And then obviously your pulse engine here, you want to get adjacency as well. With the layout here, I couldn't really get more, and I did try moving it around, but our number goes down. So just move these around until you get the highest number. You can even try doing something like that if you think that's going to get better, but no, we lost 500 there. So I've played around. This is my best layout for these slots. You take your ship and you find your best layout at the highest number you can there. The photonics core, we're going to go over that now. That's why at the beginning of this video we talked about this guy here that says Twitch rewards. He might not say that for you if you've not gotten anything from Twitch, but he is who you get your expedition rewards for. And if you cycle through these tabs here, you can go buy expedition to see your rewards. And if you go to 12, the Omega expedition, you will see the Starborn Runner Starship. It's an exclusive spacecraft, and it comes with an exclusive technology. If you had I think the PlayStation pre-order edition of the game, you got a ship that came with a photonics core. And if you did Expedition 12 all the way to the end and completed it, you got the ship we just saw, which came with also photonics core. And you can, as you can see down at the bottom, store technology, put it on a ship, and transfer it to another ship. And it gives as well an 11% maneuverability, just like the flight assist override does, multiplying your maneuverability even further. So that's why you want to have access in some capacity to the photonics core if available. And lastly, I mean, we can talk about all the other stuff you want to have on a Starship too. Here's some basic tech. This helps you get rid of pirates. Helps you rid of, if you're carrying illicit goods, helps you get rid of the Sentinel ships that are scanning you. So that's a really good one to have. This is your economy scanner, lets you see the economy of systems. Conflict scanner lets you see the conflict level of systems. This lets you teleport stuff to and from your ship up to like 500, not even 500 U. It's more like 100 U. It's a really, really, really short distance, but it's still worth having. Landing gear, yeah, you want landing gear. You can get really good ones for X class up to 25%, I think. I didn't re-roll that high. 24% is pretty good. 20 is your best bet with an S class landing gear module. So if you're going for X, there you go. But the important bit over here is the bobbleheads. Some of these have adjacency bonuses. You can see from these white outlines on them, Starship trails and bobbleheads interact with adjacency bonuses. However, these four over here do not have any adjacency bonuses, and you can see this one's not touching anything, but if I move it here, Apollo does not have adjacency with anything. They do still give bonuses. They are worth installing if you have the slots. Put these in. That's extra hyperdrive range, I think. Let's take this off. Store technology, 2538, 2400. See, we gained almost 100 light years. Whoops. From the Atlas figurine. You want these installed. They're worth having. But these ones give adjacency bonuses, and Polo in specific gives what I like, the maneuverability bonus, and if you put stuff around him that gives adjacency bonuses, that will get you the highest amount of maneuverability boost. So that's what I have done. I've also set these up in such a way that you can see all of the things that will interact that give adjacency bonuses. I think if I don't have them all installed, all Starship trails should. Yes, yeah, but I don't want that one installed. I don't need any other adjacency bonuses, really. I think at most we could get Artemis if we move some stuff around up here, or the Tentacle to get an extra one. I don't need that. And the thing you got to be careful with is with Starship trails, they override each other for which one displays on your ship in flight. The red trail is the one that I wanted on this ship, so it overrides all of these others. You can't get any of these really cool Starship trails to show. If these are the ones you want, what you should do is take the Starship trail you want and put it in, and then find one of these others or two that don't override it, if you're lucky. If you want red, good news. It overrides pretty much everything. So that's fantastic for this ship in particular. But what you want to do is surround Polo with 4, if possible, things that give adjacency bonuses. So you can take a tentacled figurine, the Artemis figurine, the Starship Trail of your choice, and one other Starship Trail that hopefully doesn't override it for display. And if you don't, you only get 3, you only get 3. You're only missing out on about 6%. If we were to move, say, this over here, 29 goes to 2880. So we didn't even lose 100, we lost 50 maneuverability out of 3,000. Not a huge loss if you only get 3 adjacency bonuses there. But yeah, that's about it for how I like to set up my starships. No matter what kind of starship you get, that's basically my layout. Maneuverability trumps all as far as I'm concerned, because that really lets you get out of combat and through combat. If you want to finish the combat, a good weapon is great, but not being able to find your enemy as it circles around you in really tight circles is the problem. So the higher your maneuverability, the easier stuff is going to be for you, in my opinion. And that's why I focus on maneuverability, the word that's hard to say right now in the morning for me. But that has been it for today. Until next time, everybody, have a good time.